Am I live? Live. What the heck? It's been a while. Oh. What? The most professional start of a stream ever. It's been a while. But we're live. Hi. R. Baker. Welcome to the stream. You can tell it's been a while. I hope the audio is not too loud, not too low. Guys, let me know. Hi Keener, welcome. Christian, welcome. Guys, let me know if the audio is off. It's been a while since I last streamed and I had to do the entire setup again. So let me know if there's anything wrong with the picture or with the audio. It should be fine. Hi Unquendor Guitars. Mike, do I have a recommendation for a workbench? Yeah, I can recommend my workbench, to be honest. It's the Sjöberg's single duplex. It's a height adjustable tiny workbench. And yeah, if you've seen my recent videos, you can see my workbench in more detail. I recommend just a workbench, just big enough to build a guitar on. Don't overdo it. You don't need much for guitar building. The only thing a big workbench will do is gather clutter. So, let's see, how's my... I have to change something on the camera real quick. Yeah. Wrong ISO setting. Yeah, hi Mr. Martin. Yeah, I'm very happy to finally be back in the workshop. In between finishing the Phoenix and all the video editing and all the promotion for that guitar, and now it's been too long, a lot of office work, but I'm glad I'm back in the workshop and it's time to build another guitar. And at least today we're going to do some preparations. I noticed, for example, my planes are getting rusty, so it's time to address some planes. My chisels, I always like to sharpen everything before I start a new guitar build. And as you can see behind me, maybe in half an hour or so, we can take a look at some woods I intend to use for the new guitar build. And maybe you guys can help me select some nice pieces to build a new guitar from. Hey, good evening, Dennis. Mike, thank you. You're welcome. Unquendor Guitars. Thank you for sending a lot of new people to the channel. It's really appreciated. So let's start by addressing my planes. Let's see, let's find an old towel. And let's see, I have to dive into my box of old rags and stuff. So let's first address the plane. Let's see, chat. Yeah, Dennis, I'm also looking forward to building a new guitar. How's the weather? It's been typical Dutch weather. It's not freezing, it's just above freezing and dreary and rainy. Oh, it's starting to get cold in the workshop. Also, it's just 10 degrees Celsius right now. And so I really don't, I'm not too bothered about the weather, to be honest. I might be rusty as well, Davis. Hey, Norman. Yeah, for me, Norman, I also had troubles going live today. Usually I can start the stream a couple of minutes before it's scheduled, but for some reason it wouldn't start and I couldn't connect to chat as well. So something happened to YouTube. Yeah, I have to get some stuff to address the plane. I'm ill prepared today. Some Japanese Camilla oil. And let's find some 600 grit wet and dry sandpaper. And a scissor. A pair of scissors right here. Yeah, and the last couple of weeks I didn't have anything. I hadn't. Wow, English. I didn't have much to do in the workshop, so that's why I haven't been live streaming, because I've been working on the computer a lot. And personally, I don't think that's very interesting to live stream about. I've rebuilt a website, maybe you've seen it. I'm very proud of the new website. But it took a lot more time than I anticipated. So guys, and this is if you have a rusty plane or a rusty tool. The best way to go about it, in my opinion, is take some Camilla oil or some WD-40. A couple of drops, 400, 600 grit, wet and dry sandpaper. And just clean the side. Paper towel. Let's see. Nice to hear. Glad you could join, Norman. Keener, prepared or not, it's awesome to see you back. Yeah, it's good to be back. I wanted to start a new guitar build straight after finishing the Phoenix. I wanted to start it in the week before Christmas. But I had a lot of other stuff to do. Yeah, oh yeah, sneak commercial for Baptiste, but most people won't even notice or won't even know what Baptiste is. Norman, not sure what anyone else thinks, but I... Maybe I will sneak in some Dutch words, Norman. Thank you. It's always speaking in a different language is always a bit of getting used to again. You have to get into it. So let's address the sole of the plane. Come on. This is incorrect. I was looking for my collection of sandpaper. 1500. I'm looking for 800 grit to do the sole of the plane. Here we are. Keener, what made you want to learn English? Well, you're from the Netherlands as well, Keener, so it's mandatory, I think, from a very early age. It's taught in school. All the music, all the movies, cartoons, everything is in English. So and I think, especially nowadays, if I look at my little niece, she's almost 4 years old and she's already learning English. So I think the Netherlands will be bilingual, is of course the Netherlands has the highest proficiency of English speakers for who English is a second language, so non-native English speakers. And I think that number will even be higher soon. Like I said, most children these days are growing up bilingual, at least bilingual. And of course, German, French is also mandatory. For some Latin, Spanish. I think that's where we Dutchies are known for, speaking a lot of languages. At least according to my YouTube feed. Hi Barry. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Norman, I know. I know, unfortunately. But when you're a native English speaker, you will have no problems here in the Netherlands. Everyone switches over to English relatively easy, especially the younger generations. So, all right, Cliff. I think that's a language we can all speak. Maybe gibberish. That might also be a a language we all know. And this is something I love doing, guys, before, and I recommend doing this before any job, whether it's building a guitar or something else. Start by preparing your tools. make sure they're ready to go when you need them. I'm always annoyed when you need to do something and either a tool is blunt, broken, missing. It can bump me out to such an extent that I don't like to continue the job I was looking forward to. So, and we'll sharpen it in a moment, together with all the other planes. Pig Latin, yeah. For some reason my planes always seem to rust on the side facing the workshop. And I have moisture traps and dehumidifiers here in the workshop, but they always seem to rust. All right. This might sound weird, as it did for me. Yeah, that's a bit strange to me as well, Norman. But yeah, guitar finishing oil does also protect tools. I like to use the Japanese Camilla oil. They say it's ideal to use on planes, chisels and such to prevent rust, but although I always use this on my tools, and you guys, if you're familiar with my channel, and I know most of you are, know how much I care and take care of my tools, but although I oil them, I put wax on them before I put them aside. During winter here in the Netherlands, everything will rust. Everything except the bed, or how do you call it, of my Triton oscillating spindle sander. For some reason that doesn't rust, but my bandsaw and everything rusts. No matter how much wax or oil I put on it. But it gives me something to do, and you can see it's just a tiny bit of work. They're nice and shiny again, ready to go. First some 600 grit. Do you use a specific oil? I don't know how old this comment is, but I'm using Camilla oil. But I also use WD-40 when it suits me. I think both are fine. And what I often do is put some microcrystalline wax on the sole of my plane and on the bed of my table saw. On the table of the bandsaw. The other way around. English. So So wipe off most. Oh, no problem, Norman. I know there's a tiny bit of delay on chat as well. Hi, Big Nasty. Welcome. Oh, guys, I forgot I haven't seen you this year. It's the first stream of 2025, so I'm curious, how were your holidays, your New Year's? Any resolutions you already broke? My bandsaw, it's the 1412. It's the Laguna 1412 bandsaw. And it's a decent enough bandsaw. But you might also want to maybe look at the Record Power Saber 350, I believe. It's very similar, and there are some pros and cons to both machines. I just flipped a coin when I had to decide between the two, and mainly because I like the colors of the Laguna, the black and grey. So, no more rust on the plane. None, Norman. There are no clockmakers in the town I live in, and it's a dying profession. There are only a handful left of traditional clockmakers. And I think last year or the year before they, how do you call it? They did an announcement, or they asked for people to come and learn the trade, because it's a dying profession. They can't make enough money, so there's no follow-up. The couple of older men and I think one young lady still make clocks by hand the traditional way. By hand, of course, they also use machines, but it's a dying trade, unfortunately. And I think within 10 years there will be no traditional clockmakers anymore. Unfortunately, unless things change, of course. Yeah. Yeah, going to the gym, went straight out of the window. It's a classic New Year's resolutions that gets thrown out of the window within a couple of weeks. Most of the time, even before people start going to the gym. It's a hard promise to keep, Cliff, not buying any more guitars. You always need one more. Oh, it's nice being in the shop again, guys, instead of behind a desk. And I can't wait to start building the new guitar, but it's going to be in a bit of a different format when it comes to the videos. Yeah, I hope you're right, Norman. I hope you're right. I got distracted. Oh, nice, Norman. Nice. Gluing up a neck. Well, if you have your wood prepared, then it's an easy job. It can feel daunting to glue up the laminate for a neck, but when you've milled down and prepared all the strips, stripes and pieces you need, then it's fairly easy. And it's so satisfying when you take off the clamps and you can process the neck blank so it's nice and flat and straight and square. Yeah, maybe I have a... For the next build, let's talk about the next build while I'm cleaning my planes. For the next build, I want to make it a fun build and an easy build for me. So nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated like the Phoenix. I want to do something else. After finishing the Phoenix, that guitar took me half a year to build and to make videos about. I want to do a quick and easy guitar builds, something I'm familiar with. Also to take to shows. I have a lot of shows coming up this year. Not coming Sunday, but the Sunday after, so a week from now. I have the first guitar show of the year, which I'm looking forward to. And there's a lot of shows coming up, so I need some guitars to take with me to the upcoming shows, something new. So I'm thinking about doing another Nessa model, and I will see if I can grab the templates in a moment. There's another plane to do. Yeah, it's my Nessa style. It's my vision on an 80s Super Strat. This was the first guitar model I developed for Unquendor Guitars. I made a couple already, of course, and I only have one left. Luckily, I only have one left to go with me to shows and to sell. So I need another one. I have a couple of Sonyas, and that's my Les Paul Telly style guitar, my single cut model. So I need another Nessa, preferably, and that's a guitar I made a couple of times already, so it should be relatively easy. Because I also really want to make a guitar I have fun building without all the anxiety of a new guitar model. Oh, thanks, Norman. Yeah, my showroom it's full. My stand I take with me to shows is already permanently set up now in the showroom to house all the guitars. So hopefully by attending some shows I can find a new home for some of them. That would be nice. I'm sorry guys if I'm blowing in my mic. Oh, thanks Cliff, thank you very much. So, one more plane to go guys, and then we're going to take a look at some timber, some wood choices I have before we're going to sharpen. Let's mix things up a bit. Tool maintenance, wood selection. Thank you, Cliff. 600 grit. Guys, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them, so we have something to talk about while I'm working. Because I have a tendency to get distracted and stay silent for a while. Or distracted or invested in what I'm doing. Some must-have planes for guitar work. I know there are a lot of plane collectors in the guitar building community on YouTube, and it's lovely to have a lot of planes. It looks nice on your wall, but I also have too many planes. I think what is essential to have is a number 4 or a 4.5. So that's regular, what's it called? Smoothing plane or something. So this is a Stanley number 4 Bailey, good quality Bailey plane, good enough at least for guitar building. And that's your general purpose use plane to smoothen out boards, to take edges of stuff. Just a regular number 4. And I recommend, if you're a number 7, this is a Stanley Bailey number 7, a long jointer's plane, and this is good for straightening out your neck blank, especially your neck blank. I use this plane for almost everything because I like the length and the weight of the number 7. It fits my hands a bit better, especially now with the custom handhold, than the number 4. but this is for joining two parts of your guitar body, straightening out your neck, such. So a number 7. So those are, I think, essential to have when you're building fully by hand and you don't have a planer or a jointer, because if you have a jointer, a thicknesser or a planer, of course, you don't really need hand planes. They're nice to have. And what I recommend is a Stanley, this is a very old Stanley number 120, and this is the modern equivalent, it's the 21, I believe. And that's a very small low angled block plane. Very nice, to do details like flattening out your headstock, trimming off, binding, for example. So fine, delicate work is when I use my number 120 Stanley, and that is nice to have. And the rest is nice to have. You know what it is with tools. You have your essentials and then things that might make your job easier. And that's, for example, this is a Axminster Rider, a low-angled jack plane, I think it's called. I'm not too familiar with how things are called. But this is when you have more tricky grain. It can be useful to plain ebony, figured maple and such because of the low angle. Nice to have. And yeah, this is my cheap Stanley 120, and this is just my general purpose plane I use in and around the workshop for various jobs when I don't want to use my better planes. So this is just a cheap regular plane. So yeah, my recommendations would be get yourself a number 4 or a 4.5 if you have bigger hands, and a number 7, and the rest is bonus. But these low angle block planes from Stanley, use the Sweetheart or a Bailey. Don't use the handyman stuff, don't use the cheaper stuff, use the better quality Stanleys. They're fine for guitar building. And I think with planes and with most tools, hand tools, the cheaper you buy them, the more you have to do to fine-tune them to do what you want them to do. And for example, a Lee Nielsen might come better set up from the factory. And I purposely say might. I have this relatively cheap Axminster, and it was fine coming from the factory. I almost had no flattening to do of the sole. It was square, it was flat, and without a hefty price tag of a Veritas or a Lee Nielsen plane or a Brit City Tools plane. It's same as with guitars, guys. Tools and guitars are very similar when it comes to price, quality, and usefulness. You can play a great song on a cheap guitar, but is it something you want to be on stage with every day? Same goes with tools. So, my plates are all rust free now. Hi Stan T. Ford. And you said to slowly lower the blade. Yeah, estate sales are very good to get your hands on good quality tools. And the nice thing is about used tools is most likely the previous owner has already done has already done a lot of flattening and making sure it's nice and square and set up properly. So buying a used plane usually means, when you buy it from a craftsman that's retiring or something, that it's a tool already set up, so it saves you a lot of work. And that's why I love this old Stanley. It's said to be around turn of the century, late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's well over 100 years old. It has a very obvious repair here on the side. It's been repaired, but it's the best plane I own. It's such a lovely plane to work with, especially for delicate work. Hi Graham. Oh Norman, I think by slowly lowering the blade, you mean when starting to plane. Yeah, that's the key. Start with the blade all the way retracted, then start making the motion, and then very carefully lower the blade, testing until you have your very fine cut, and go from there. If it's too easy and the cut is too fine, lower the blade a bit more and gently ease the blade in. Don't do it the other way around. Don't start with a too rough cut, because it will lead to tear out and maybe dulling your blade, and then retracting it. I always prefer to start with the blade all the way retracted into the plane, and then slowly ease the blade out while testing the cut, so to say. Yeah, like Keener said, when you do retract your blade a bit, always engage it by getting the slack out of the adjustment. So, planes. I'm going to put them. There's. Let's find. Put them back for a moment for now. So I have some space to sharpen the blades. Oh yeah, I lent one to someone, so I'm missing one plane. Another number 4. It might, R. Baker. It might. I'm not sure. There are guitar parts in that box. There might be Fishmans, but... any chisels I like to use? Yeah. I like to use these Narex chisels. Not too expensive. Hold on to the edge fairly well. And this is my first and only set of branded quality chisels, to be honest. And they do what they're supposed to do. They chisel. Again, because they're a bit cheaper to start off with, you have some work to do to get the back nice and flat and to sharpen them real good for the first time. But when you've done all the work, they're fairly easy to maintain and they do what I need them to do. They stay sharp for long enough. And that's the thing with guitar building. We're not using chisels all day, maybe every day, but not to the same frequency and the same matter of use. that's the correct term of someone doing joinery all day, for example. I never hit my chisels with a hammer, for example. I always only use them by hand. Oh, Graham, we're going to talk about the next project off and on during the stream. The next project will be a guitar build, and now that the box came up, there's a lot of stuff from Schaller in here. So, is there Fishman in here? No, it's mostly Schaller and some old parts. These are the parts I'm going to use on the next guitar build. A lot of stuff I had laying around. Some stuff I ordered, especially for this guitar build. I saw a store that had hipshot fixed bridges. So the fixed bridge, hipshot fixed bridge, I always use or often use on my guitars. They had them on sale, so I ordered a couple of those bridges just in case. I had a fairly good deal. Yeah, I believe so, our baker. If you're ever looking for a very high quality, well made fixed bridge, hipshot. Of course, Graphtec Tusk XL nut. A whole bunch of pickup rings. So, chrome pickup rings, Schaller pickup rings, some Goldo chromed and metal pickup rings. I try to avoid using plastic on my guitars, as you might know. Output jack. Oh, a whole bunch of domed knobs. Just a regular. Let's see, can I show this to you guys? Maybe like so. So they're just the regular domed knobs. Oh yeah. A microfiber cleaning sponge, cleaning pad from Schaller. It's a present. I have to look into this, what it is exactly, but I think it's to polish the chrome of Schaller components. Of course, a couple of sets of Schaller strap locks. There's a lot of stuff in here. What? Did I order this many? Okay. Output. Three-way switch. Oh. And of course, a whole bunch of tuners. No Cliff. I use the same set of chisels for everything, except very cheap. Yeah, I know there's an English word for it. The framing timber and such, just regular pine as such. I use different chisels for do-it-yourself jobs in and around the house, but in the workshop I only use these Narex chisels. Nice, guys. I really love these tuners. These tiny M6 minis, locking tuners. Tiny knob, very small footprint, lightweight, so less neck drop. I think this is a staggered set. Yeah, this is a staggered set, so every two tuners have a different post height, so you get nice string pull and a nice break angle on the nut for your strings. And nothing beats this packaging. So that's the hardware for the upcoming build, and we can still make a Nessa or a Sonia. Put it aside for a moment. Let's finish my coffee. Oh, delivery note. Okay, I'm going to put some blades aside. Let's keep them here. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Aha! So let's start with the body, I think. Let's Mr. Martin, black with a bit of sugar and a spoon. Have you seen my spoons, by the way? Everything is guitar themed in the workshop, even my teaspoons, my coffee spoons. It's a little bass guitar. Was a present. No, not yet, Graham. I haven't sold Phoenix yet, but hopefully I will this year. I really need it, to be honest. Guys, let us select the body for the next guitar build, and I'm going to fetch the template real quick. Where are the templates? Here's one. And yeah, it's a mess right here. So, I'm back. With a bunch of templates. So I think this will be the guitar we're going to make. The Nessa, my double cut, dual cut model. And we need a body. And I have these two lovely pieces. Single piece. So it's going to be a single piece body of black limba. This is the first piece. Nicely figured on one side, but the other side is a bit dull. It's nice and heavy. It's a nice piece of lumber. Timber is the wood used for framing houses and such. So, nice piece of wood. Let's call it wood. So, that's one. Let's call it number one. And this is a very similar piece. It comes from the same slab of wood. Also single piece black limba. Also nicely figured on one side. And a bit dull on the other side. No, it's the term hardwood and softwood is a bit misleading. Hardwoods are usually trees that have leaves, and softwoods usually are pine, spruce, trees with needle-like evergreens. Is it called evergreens? Trees are usually softwood, and it doesn't. For example, balsa wood is considered a hardwood, but it's one of the softest and lightest woods out there. So it's a bit misleading. And black limba, when it comes to the actual hardness and how easy it is to work, it's comparable to mahogany. Yeah, Norman. Yeah, I'm not the biggest believer in tone wood when it comes to electric guitars, but I have very good results with limba. And there are more and more manufacturers that are starting to use limba as their main body wood because it's a lovely looking wood. It's relatively easy to work with. Like I said, it works almost the same as mahogany. It's very comparable to mahogany when it comes to the physical characteristics of the species, and it looks real nice. And yeah, of course, I'm going to do an inlaid top, so that's why I'm thinking to use the figured side as the back of the guitar and do an inlaid top on the front of the guitar. What do you guys think? Any preference between the two? Evergreen. Yeah. When it comes to sustain, Norman, I am a firm believer that it also has to do with the string gauge you're using. Let's see. Yeah, I think they're both fine to be used on a Nessa. Grain direction is similar. Let's see. What to use. This is the hardest part of building guitars, guys. Yeah, we'll get to that, Cliff. I have some tops laying right here. So let's decide. We're going to use this one for our build. Deciduous. Thanks, Barry, for clarifying. I don't know whoever came up with the differentiation of softwoods and hardwoods when it has nothing to do with the actual hardness. So let's see. I'm going to call this Stream's Choice. So this is the body wood we're going to use for the next build, guys. So that's one decision made. Stream's Choice. Let's write it in white also. Can I show you that I'm actually writing this? There was a way for me to use this as well. Go. Type. Camera. Select the device. iPhone. Haha! This is weird. Stream's Choice. Haha! Here we go. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to make you nauseous. Oh, sorry guys. Have a secondary camera. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Me left, this is Black Limba or Corina. If you see a guitar manufacturer mentioning Corina, Gibson calls it Corina for example, it's the same family of wood. Oh yeah, Black Limba, it works very easy. It's very easy to sand, very easy to route, to plane. I love working with Limba. We're going to do the neck in a moment. What do you guys like to choose next? The fretboard or the top? I want to make it a clear guitar, so I'm not going to use any stains, any color on this build. I want to make it a natural guitar, so a natural, I think a matte finish. I'm currently working with the guys over at Nitorlac to come up with a clear grain filler, a clear primer and a clear matte finish for this guitar. So they're currently developing a clear grain filler that you can use to fill the grain underneath a clear coat. And that's what we're going to try and use on this guitar. Top next, fretboard. I have one top, one fretboard. Let's do the top. I have two tops, three tops, one fretboard, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, another fretboard. Oh, the same. Yeah, it will be the top. We're going to choose the top. Top wins. And I hope I can show you this. And maybe this camera will help me a bit as well. Maybe. This is the first set, and I really don't know how it shows up. It's quilted big leaf maple, so it's reddish, so it's not as white as regular maple. But it's a very highly figured quilted maple top. Oh, this is... So that's one, and I can show it on the smaller camera, hopefully in a bit more detail, how figured this is. So, top number one, keep this in mind. Quilted maple. It seems like I've already drawn a guitar on this set. Yes, I did. There's already a Nessa drawn on this top. I think it's also called quilted maple again. Big leaf maple, but this time it's more spots. Let's see if I can. Yeah, these are all book matched sets already. The only thing I have to do is address the seam in between the two sets, and then they can be book matched. I can buy these sets already book matched. Let's see. So this is set number 2, a different type of quilting. Maybe on the small camera. So set number 2. Yeah, it's real nice. I don't think it comes across on camera the way it should. I'm going to use this for last. This one is very comparable to the previous one. Same type of quilting. It's more like clouds than anything. This is a real nice set. You can see it on the small camera. Very intense 3D effect. Maybe this would look better in color, to be honest. It can be great having a very high quality clear on a piece of quilted maple. Third set so far. Going to put this aside. And for the final one, it's a bit different. Let's see. Yeah. This is, I believe, how it's supposed to come together. And this is a piece of spalted flamed big leaf maple. And this was a set I initially bought to be used on the Phoenix. But it was a bit too thin to be used on the Phoenix. I really like this one, to be honest, but I might be biased. Let's see if I can show this a bit better. A bit of inception right now. Oh, I'm going to switch cameras for a moment. Yep. So, no. Let's see. Let's see. Third one so far. That's what I was thinking it was good for. Beautiful. Set 1 for Evan, so we have 1 and 3. So guys, this is set number 4, and I think this camera gives you a better idea of what it looks like. Yeah, oh, haha. Hold on guys, I have something, if I can find it real quick. Hopefully. Oh. Uh-oh. What did I do? And it's the wrong one. Uh-oh. I'm a bit panicking right now. Oh, here it is. I made that mess for nothing. I was looking for my negative template. So this is what it might end up looking like. Yeah, there will of course be some hardware. Not too much, to be honest. Alright, this is set number 4. I wish I could do a poll. An official poll, but I can't, unfortunately. Set number 4. And of course positioning is key, like this band right here. When doing the final layout, I'm going to make sure that either a pickup is right here or the bridge. You don't want this kind of band of a different texture being, for example, in between 2 pickups. But maybe I can even hide it underneath the neck pocket maybe. Yeah, like so. Then it's almost gone. So this is set number 3, guys. Thanks, Unquendor Guitars. So this is number 3 and number 4. The next one is very, very similar. It's a bit harder to see, I think. Raise. Maybe I have to do this. So I think this is the least interesting of the ones we've seen so far. Although when I'm doing this, you can see how much of a 3D effect is right here. You can almost feel it. But I think this one looks better in color. Yeah, just the regular Limba is a bit... this looks great, maybe. But the other side is a bit dull. So these two are two contenders. And the first stop, let's see. This is how they should be. There's a lot of tear out. This is a very difficult piece to work with. It looks great, but it's going to be a nightmare. There are two spots right here. I want to avoid two little defects. So something like this. This is just your regular run-of-the-mill quilted maple. I think we can put this one aside. And of course, guys, I'm going to use all these tops on guitars. So we'll see them again no matter what we choose. I think... This is number 1. Yeah, it's a beautiful quilt, guys. But they're all gorgeous tops, and that's the downside of my supplier. He has such beautiful sets. I always leave when I'm just visiting. I always leave with too many tops. So let's see, it's this one. You can really see the quills right now. Yeah, they're all great. And I think I want to see this one. Although on camera, look at this, guys. I think we might have to do this one in color, or maybe another guitar. Yeah. Let's put this one aside. So now it's between the spalted flamed top. And what I like to do with these tops is just slightly angle this so the flames will make a slight V pattern. So either like so, or the other way around. No, like so. So nope. It's funny how the wood speaks to you. It needs to be like this. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Yeah, perhaps you're right that the difference between the grayish color might be too similar to the limba. Oh, no, I don't mind a berry. It's from a Dutch supplier called Massave. Massave, yeah, and in Dutch, Fijnhouthandel. So it's a Dutch supplier of exotic woods, and he's specialized in for a big part in wood for guitar building. So, brain fart. I think this might be better in a mahogany body, maybe. Yeah, I really like this top, but for some reason it isn't speaking to me for this guitar build. And when I'm looking right here from the corner of my eyes into the camera, yeah, can we all agree this will be on on another build, maybe with some color? Yeah, spalted top and a spalted body is too much, but of course this isn't spalted, this is just black limba. And this will be the back of the guitar. This will be the front. I think something like so. So this will be the front of the guitar. And we're going to do an inlaid top. So this is the actual size of the top. So we have a 8mm false binding around the inlaid top. So I think we're there, guys. It isn't easy without doing a... Ooh, this is an expensive... The price is still on here. So this will be the top we're going to use for this guitar. So this is the front of the body. And we're going to do it... I think I have to avoid... You can see there's two defects, or one defect, that's on both sides of course. So we might have to avoid that part. And I'm going to try and leave this bit less figured underneath in the neck pocket and underneath the first pickup. Bridge will be here. We don't need this, or maybe... Maybe like this. We can figure that out later. Do we all agree that this will be the top for the next build? Am I still? Yeah. I can always manipulate it a bit. Yeah, this is top chat. No, I want live chat. It switched on me. Don't switch. Live chat. Oh, goodbye, Keener. I missed a whole lot of chat messages. Guys, if you're watching, there's a difference in YouTube between top chat and live chat. And I just noticed mine was set on top chat, and then YouTube filters out some of the messages that it thinks aren't relevant. So if I've missed any of your messages, I'm sorry. Where did you buy? I've answered. Yes, yes. Great choice. It's going to look great. Yeah. This will be it. This will be our top. Let's switch cameras. Can I switch cameras? Device. Here we are. Second camera. iPhone. Right. I'm going to put this aside for now. So this is the top selected. Again, let's see. My camera stopped working. Come on. So this is again Chet's choice. Great, 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 great. It's an idea I've been thinking about, Cliff, to do a wire inlay around the top to make a separation with either silver or aluminum. It's something I've been thinking about, and it might make doing the inlay top even easier, to be honest, because the tolerances can be a bit wider, a bit bigger tolerances. And then I can just run a Dremel in the seam in the joint between the body and the top, and then do a wire inlay. It might be easier, so maybe, but this build was more about making a relatively simple guitar look awesome. And I really wanted to have a less stressful build for me. And just make a stunning, but yeah, very well playing guitar without too much bells and whistles. But who knows? It's a backup plan I have for when the inlay doesn't go as planned. When I have a big gap or something, just to route a channel and then do an inlay. Alright guys, for the neck there's no choice. As you know, I have these neck blanks pre-made for me by my specifications, and I have a couple left. So flamed maple and black limba and ebony striping, my go-to neck configuration. It's all quarter sawn, so nice and stable, ready to go. The only thing I have to do is straighten it out, making sure it's nice, flat, dead straight, and then I can start making a neck. Moment some of you have been waiting for. Fretboard. And there's some choice in fretboards. This is my guilty pleasure. Every time I see a fretboard I like, I buy a couple. And this is, I think, besides selecting a top, it's a fun process selecting the fretboard. Now keep in mind, this is our top, and I think it's important to keep that in mind, that this is the top we're going to select a fretboard for. I think those two need to go together. Okay, again, hopefully I'm going to lower the smaller cam, otherwise known as my phone. Thank you, Kingdom. Thank you. So, fretboards. Regular, flamed ebony with some striping, I always like there to be a bit of figuring in my ebony. I don't like full on black ebony fretboards. I always liked there to be a bit of coloring. Another regular plain ebony fretboard with some brown striping. Let's do the some Indian rosewood, brownish, purplish. But I think, if I may speak up my preference, I have two Indian rosewood fretboards, one light brown and one, like I said, purplish brown, darker brown. But I think for this guitar build, a Indian rosewood isn't suitable. So we can dismiss the rosewood fretboards, I think. And I'm going to lay out, I think, all the ebony fretboards, because I have some lovely, highly figured, or how do you call it, pale moon ebony or something. A couple of years ago, no one wanted to see this on a guitar, and now everyone wants to see ebony like this. And I might switch cameras in a moment, guys, so you can see the selection of fretboards. A lot of pale moon ebony. And one maybe special ebony fretboard, and it's dotted. Let's see, can I do this? Move this. Right here. I'm going to switch cameras. Device, iPhone, yoink, and it should switch. Haha, yes. Chat back. So guys, here's all the, oh, wow, whoops, sorry. I don't know what I did. So this is flamed ebony. Doesn't really show up the flames on camera, but you can see there's a bit of flaming going on. Regular ebony, and then all the special ones. These two might be a bit too plain for this guitar. For this guitar we really want the wood itself to shine. So I think with this top, these two might be too plain. Your right to left number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can we all agree that these two, although they're lovely, we can dismiss these two for now? I think so. maybe, can I turn them? So big production value, this live stream. A lot of noise. So let's do it like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is hard, guys. I really love all of these. So I'm going to tally what you guys are saying for the next 3 minutes. So I have 1 Cliff, 3 in the middle, R Baker for number 2. I have a 2 and a 3. 2 and 4. For now, number 2 is in the lead. Let's give this, let's say, 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 is cool because the light brown is dominating over the black. Two is in the lead right now. Yeah, I might agree with Cliff on this a bit. 2, no, it is real nice because it's essentially the other way around. It's in inversed when it comes to color than the other ones, but maybe it's a bit too much. Let's see. Can I move you? Wait a second. I can. Yeah, I can move this. I have the power to move stuff. I think my personal preference is 4, I think. Okay, we're now debating between 2 and 4. So we're going to dismiss 5 and 1. Although I like 1, but I think customers will love this fretboard. I've already sold a guitar, a custom-made guitar, because I had a similar fretboard like this one. Someone saw this fretboard, or not this one, but a similar fretboard to this one, and he wanted me to build a guitar because of the fretboard. So that might be a keeper to show to customers. 3. Yeah, 3 is really in between those two. So we had some for 3. Cliff was for 3. Like so, or the other way around. I think number 2 should... 3 3 should be like this. And I think 4. There's a nut right here. Let's see. With the top right here, the black limba. Yeah, it's going to be my tulip inlay, just my regular inlay. This is hard, guys. I knew this was going to be hard. That's why I needed your help. And then we have something to do during a live stream. It's going to be chrome hardware. I think 2 will be great with a darker guitar. For example, a black stained guitar with black hardware and then a lighter fretboard. I think 2 will look great on a dark guitar, on a black guitar, and then having a contrasting fretboard. Let's spread them apart a bit. Still number 3, so that's the middle one. I think I might try to do a bound neck again, yeah. So 2 is out. Yeah, I believe I'm going to keep number 2 for a darker guitar. I think it will look stunning on a black guitar with black hardware, and having this as a fretboard on a guitar with black hardware. Sorry, guys. Let's see, with just the top. This is going to be, I'm going to turn this around so we can have a good look at the top. And there's still a lot of plain blades. What? This is weird with that camera. So this is the top. So this is number 3. Yeah. And number 4. There's just a subtle, but I think you guys are right. I think the original number 3, so the one that was in the middle originally, might be the best. Decisions made. Here we go again. Guys, it's your fault. Chad's choice. Thank you, Carvin. Thank you. We're selecting the wood we're going to use on the next build. I thought it would be fun to do this in a live stream, to leave the hard decisions to you guys. Right, choices made. Okay. Switch cameras. Device. Come, switch. Camera 2. We're going to turn it off for now. Back to chat. So, yeah. So guys, choices have been made. Our fretboard, and I think whatever we did, it would turn out awesome, of course. So, fretboard, I think it goes very well with the top we selected, and I'm happy with the choices. Of course, our neck blank. It's going to look awesome. Top. And of course the body. This will be the front, nicely covered by the inlay top. And the back, so we have something going on in the back of the guitar as well. Nice. We're going to put this aside, and yeah, now I can start making this guitar in the next couple of days. Let's put this aside, and let's go back to working on the planes. I'm keeping moving stuff around from like a headless chicken. And of course, guys, I'm not leaving the wood out in the shed. I always take the wood inside the house. I have a wood storage in my office, so it doesn't get exposed to high humidity or fluctuating temperatures too much. So now with the wood sorted, let's go back to addressing the planes and the chisels, at least for a moment. Sharpening stones, diamond sharpening stones, and a strop and a piece of MDF with some polishing compound on it. I'm cleaning my diamond stones, just a little tip, with a eraser. Ideas to model rail. Oh, it's Peter. I think it's Peter. I'm fairly certain it's Peter. Thanks. Yeah, oh, it says it's Peter. Thank you. Yeah, well done, everyone. I brushed over it maybe a bit too fast. But thank you all for helping me sorting out the timber and the wood we're going to use on the next build. And I'm very, very excited to be able to relax while building a guitar again. So for the channel, I'm still trying to come up with a schedule between all the shows, preparation for shows, attending shows, even abroad. So I'm not sure about the uploading schedule of videos. It's unlikely it will be weekly, unless I decide to first shoot all the footage, build the entire guitar and then release the videos, or something in between. When it comes to the format, I saw the question earlier. I think it will be similar to what I did for the Great Guitar Build of 21. The same style of videos. It was easy for me to shoot. I could build the guitar relatively quick because I didn't have to film a lot and all the time. So it will be less explainy. Something like that, if that makes sense. I'm not entirely certain, but I want to enjoy myself a bit more while building the guitar instead of having to worry about shooting videos. This build is really going to be about the build and less about making a video. Oh, Nick. Yeah, for everyone, I think I'm going to answer this in Dutch. So it came up earlier in the stream that people wanted me to. I didn't mind if I spoke Dutch once in a while. But to answer Nick and to make sure he has the best answer, I'm going to do this in Dutch. Nick, de leverancier is Massave Fijnhouthandel in Zwolle. Als je even op Google intypt Massave Fijnhouthandel in Zwolle, kom je op zijn website. Ik weet niet zeker of hij zijn webshop al op orde heeft. Maar als je hem even een belletje geeft, hij heeft heel veel klanten in België, dus verzenden naar België is geen probleem. Dus Massave Fijnhouthandel, daar kan je terecht voor goede kwaliteit hout. En natuurlijk zeg even dat ik je gestuurd heb. So, that was all the Dutch. Hi Dan, I missed this. Yeah, unfortunately. We're not done yet, but we just finished selecting all the wood we're going to use on the next build. And look at the gunk coming from the sharpening stone. I'm using DMT sharpening stones. I'm using the extra fine, and this is the fine one because I only have to touch up my chisels and my plane blades. Let's start with the oldest blade from the very old hand plane, and it's still relatively sharp. And I have the easiest sharpening method in the world. I'm just using some window cleaner. I'm first going to rub the back of my plane blade on my fine sharpening stone. Just a couple of times. the front of or the bevel of the blade, I just do this by feeling when I have the bevel flat on the surface of the sharpening stone. Until I feel a little burr on the back. Remove the burr. It already feels sharp. Hey Barry, good evening. Thank you for joining and see you in the next one. Have a good one. So, and after finishing the blade on the fine stone, I'm going to finish it off on the ultra fine one, and this is where I spent, oh, dank u, most of the time. And I like to sharpen my planes by addressing the back, then the front or the bevel side, and then the back. And I'm not too worried about all kinds of theories behind sharpening and all kinds of legends and myths going around the internet about how to sharpen a chisel or how to sharpen a blade. For me, it's the end result that counts. When I'm done, usually on my diamond stones, I take a piece of MDF with some polishing compound. And polish the edge. And then I'm going to check if the blade is sharp. And if I can shave my arms with it, it's sharp enough to cut wood. One blade down. Yeah, everyone wants to have a magic arm to bring coffee. And yeah, I've mentioned this before in streams and videos. I'm terribly lucky. I have a lovely wife that comes out in the cold. I don't know if it's raining right now, but she comes out of the house through the garden to bring me coffee. Oh, I was assembling this blade. Or this plane. Lovely old plane. Yeah, if you order one then I will happily build a 6-string multi-scale fan fret bass guitar. So drop me an email. We can talk about building you your dream bass. So one plane assembled, ready to go. And like I said, this will come in very handy to plane down the headstock break angle, for example. That's where I use this plane for the most. Next up, his cheaper counterpart. Yeah, money, money. Unfortunately then, I wish I could build whatever I wanted. And to some extent I can. But I do have to keep in mind two things. One, the guitar or the instrument I'm building has to be sellable. And there must be a prospect or a good chance of me being able to sell the guitar. Or it's an instrument I would love to own myself. And I don't have any use for a 6-string multi-scale fan fret bass guitar. And maybe there is a market for it, but I don't know. And I wish, and it's a bit of a dream, that maybe one day this channel is big enough that I can do whatever I want. But unfortunately, despite popular belief, YouTube isn't paying the bills. Hey Hartsy, I'm doing quite well, thank you, thank you. I'm very, very glad I'm back in the workshop, doing live streams again, preparing for another guitar build I'm very much looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to doing a lot of shows this year. I don't know if you've seen my post. I've posted it on Instagram, and I think I also did a community post here on YouTube about the upcoming guitar shows I'm attending. So I have a chance of meeting a lot of you guys, because I'm going abroad for the first time. I will be at the Guitar Summit in Mannheim this year, and I'm thinking about maybe also going to Montreux in Switzerland. I've been invited to attend that show as well, but it's a bit expensive, so I have to see if I can make the arrangements and to attend that show as well. It's a dream of mine to one day be on the Montreux guitar show. So I'm very much looking forward to this year. After having finished the Phoenix and how that guitar turned out, and now that I finally finished a lot of other stuff, behind the scenes stuff that had been on my to-do list for over a year, like updating my website and such. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this year. There's less pressure, immediate pressure to worry about, and this year it's going to be attending shows and building the guitars I want to build and enjoy building. Oh, thanks R. Baker. Thank you very much. I'm really proud of that website, to be honest. I built it myself, I designed it myself, I did everything on that website. And I really love how it turned out. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to. And hopefully I can find the time to maintain it and to have more content on the website as well. It took me some weeks, but we're there. So, thank you, Jeffrey, and I'm glad it shows, and it does. It really does. The Phoenix turned out great, and the reactions from you guys and from everyone who's seen that video was overwhelming and gave me new energy. And yeah, like I said, I'm really looking forward to start building guitars again. But that said, I'm going to change my video format just a little bit so it's easier and more sustainable for myself to build guitars and do videos. And I think I'm going to do more live streams. I started this last year. Whoa, it's really sharp. Holy. So to maybe do update live streams like this when I'm doing, for example, cutting an inlay, that I can just shoot a couple of minutes of video, and then in the evening or then directly afterwards, when I don't need to record, do a live stream, for example. So that's easier for me to do, so less stress about editing. I was editing all weekend during the Phoenix build. It was shooting a lot of content during the day, and then in the evening sort through the footage, and then in the weekends spend the entire weekend editing. It was a bit too much. I love doing it, but I have to take a bit of a break to protect myself and don't trap myself again in a situation I was in a year ago. Yeah. Hello, Sofian. Hello. I'm a bit distracted by my thoughts. Yeah, it's sharp. You see, guys, it's the result that counts. You can find 100 different ways of sharpening your blades out on the internet, but it's the result that counts. And I'm not counting strokes, I'm not using jigs or anything. With some practice, sharpening isn't that hard. Good. Yeah. Yeah, Peter. That's what I thought, and I think it's the place to be. And of course, it's the casino where Deep Purple Smoke on the Water is about. So it's also in a significant place when it comes to rock history. Another plane ready to go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This one. And look at this blade, guys. It's one hefty blade. And that's one thing about planes. The thicker your blade is, the less it will scatter over the wood you're working on. How's my battery life doing? All right. I'm really glad we decided on the wood, guys. It's been a lovely evening. I'm not going to sharpen all my chisels. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But I would love to hear some of your questions, maybe about sharpening. About something else. Noise. Oh, I have to check them out, R. Baker. Oh, thanks, Dan. Dan Jensen. Yeah, it was purposely built to be a cozy place to work in, and I can make it even. Well, no. The overhead lights are too strong right now, but it's meant to be a cozy working environment, a place to relax while working. And it's also, of course, because it's also partly a film studio for YouTube. It has to look apart as well. And it must be inviting to customers. Yeah. There's a trouble spot right here on the blade. Dan Buckingham, I've seen your neck holding jig in a few videos. Could you show it in more detail or explain it? Do you mean my routing jig to route the trussel channel? If so, I can try and dig it out. Harji, maybe a stupid question. Those don't exist. There are no stupid questions. But what are these plates you're sharpening with? Looks like it's more polishing. These are DMT, that's the brand. Diamond plates. They're diamond sharpening stones. So they're a metal plate. They're truly flat. And they're covered with diamond dust. And this is the fine and the ultra fine. But I do have other ones, just in case, that are much coarser. I have 6 in total, going from very, very coarse, for example, to change the angle of your blade, or to have if you have a very dull blade. So I have a very coarse one, and then of course ultra coarse, extra coarse, coarse, fine, extra fine, and ultra fine, something like that. And they're just diamond sharpening stones. And the benefit of a diamond sharpening stone in comparison to a oil stone or a whetstone is that these are always 100% flat. And you don't have to flatten them, you don't have to put them in a tub of water or oil them. You just clean them, and I use an eraser when they're very dirty. You can just clean them and use a tiny bit of water or a bit of, I like to use these window cleaner alcohol based stuff, and to help lubricate the stone and to clean them a bit. So they're just diamond sharpening stones. Hopefully that answered your question. And indeed, these very fine are more polishing than grinding or sharpening. It's just because I maintain my blades very well. I only have to maintain them when not abused too much by just setting the bevel, and it doesn't require much usually, except for this blade, because it's a thicker blade and it's very hard. It can sometimes be tricky to sharpen it. A bit more work, not tricky, but sometimes a bit more work. But especially this stone, this ultra fine one, it feels like glass. But you can see by the discoloring of water, or in this case this blue stuff, that you are removing material. Put the pencils away. Yeah, da, 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 dum, dum, dum. And you know the back of your chisel or your blade is dead flat when it sticks itself to your diamond stone. It's pretty sharp. Oh, yep. It's sharp. So. Yep. So, plain setup. Well, I can make a mess as well. When I'm done, not anymore, Nick. No, when I'm done sharpening all my blades, so all the plain blades, And all the chisels, I usually don't have hair on my arms and sometimes on my leg from testing. I think it's the best way of testing. If you can shave with your blade, it's sharp enough to plane wood or to cut wood. And it's more or less that I'm testing drag. You might not might not be able to tell that I know what shaving is, that when you use a razor, when it's dulling, you can feel it starting to drag. You can still shave yourself with that razor blade, but you can start to feel the drag. And I'm looking for that drag when I'm shaving with my plane blades. It can feel sharp when you're testing it like so, or with a piece of paper. But you can really tell if a blade is really sharp when you can shave your arms or your legs and you don't notice that drag and you don't leave scratches on your arms. And at least that's what I'm looking for when sharpening. And that's also the reason why I'm using that piece of MDF when I'm done with the sharpening stones, and that just to give it a bit of a polish, even finer than the finest sharpening stone. Yeah, can I make it another half an hour? Yeah, let's try and finish everything up in half an hour. And then call it a night or a day or whatever. Well, I think I will get banned from YouTube when I do a full body shave. Did I finish? Oh yeah, I finished my coffee. Oh, we talked about plane recommendations earlier this evening at the start of this stream. One recommendation I can make when buying these Stanley Bailey planes is getting replacement blades. The blades, at least from the planes I've got, and there might be a difference between the ones made in the UK and the ones made in the US, but the blades aren't the best that come with the standard Stanley planes. I still have the standard plane blade, the standard Stanley blade in my number 4, and it's okay-ish. It's a bit tricky to sharpen, and it's a bit thin, so it's more likely to scatter over the wood. And for my number 7, I've replaced the standard Stanley blade with a Veritas blade. It's just a higher quality blade. It's a bit thicker, so less scattering. It's easy to sharpen, and it holds its edge a bit longer, which is very nice for a number 7 plane. So yeah, that's one recommendation I can give, is try and replace the blades that come with the standard Stanley Bailey blades. Standard Stanley Bailey's planes. Just regular, I don't know, the same stuff I use on my frets. Oh. Just these bars, and I use the blue one, which is the fine. And what I do is I heat up the MDF a bit with a heat gun and the polishing compound a bit, and I just rub it on and smear it out a bit. Just the compound you would use on a buffing wheel. And here in the Netherlands I can get these very cheap sets with Jeweller's Red, Jeweller's Rouge, but it's a coarse compound, medium one the white, and then fine, ultra fine, high gloss. And I use these also to polish my frets with a Dremel. And I have this set for years, and I don't think I will run out anytime soon. Just cheap polishing compounds, not polishing compound. I have to. I have a feeling this blade skipped a sharpening session, or I have abused this a bit more. Here we go. Here we go. No. I always take the wood I'm working with back inside the house. So it's always accustomed to indoors humidity and temperatures. That it's sitting in the workshop right now is the longest. I usually leave it out. And when I'm working in the workshop, I make sure that the conditions in the workshop are very similar to what it's inside. So I don't have too many issues with how do you call it? The wood moving on me unexpectedly or anything like that. And also when I'm working on a guitar, every evening I take everything back inside with me. And when I'm not working on a body, the body stays indoors, for example. Warping, yeah, that's the word I was looking for, warping. And also usually my body blanks, These have been in my office, where I store all the guitar parts and all the wood for guitar builds, for at least a year now. No, not really warping. Of course, all guitars will move a bit when being exposed to very different humidity or temperatures, which is usually temperature and humidity are of course very dependent on each other. So not really warping that was catastrophic or made the guitar unplayable. Of course, when a guitar is finished and it's under tension for the first time, of course it has to get used to the string tension and of course being finished and being a guitar inside a room for a while. Of course, after a couple of weeks you have to do the setup again. Both the combination of string tension and humidity and finish and such. And neck sprout. I had one customer coming back with some fret sprout on the neck, but that's also very common and nothing major. So I never had major movement that made a guitar unplayable or I had to do an elaborate fix. So I couldn't make that answer any longer, I think. Hi Keener, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, I'll be streaming, I think for another, I said a half an hour, but it's now 15 minutes, maybe a bit longer. When I'm done sharpening the planes, I think I'm going to call it a night. Go inside, have a little drink, relax for a bit before it's time to go to bed. I think we're there. This is always a bit of a problem, this Stanley blade. Oh, new compound. Well, it depends. Ocean, no, because we don't have an ocean. Yeah, it depends what you call close. I live relatively close, one might say, depending on what you're used to the sea. What is it? 50, 60 kilometers or so 40 miles. But overall in the Netherlands we have a very, very humid climate, especially in winter. So much so that I don't know, for people who have been following me for a while now, might remember that I had troubles with a Laguna drum sander that kept, the PCB kept shortening and the servos kept shortening, and that also had to do with the high humidity here in the Netherlands. Everyone who had those machines had problems with the PCB shorting out in winter. And yeah, my tools, especially my planes and the bed or the table of my bandsaw, are prone to rust just a bit. It's just a bit of surface rust, nothing major. In the beginning of the stream, I showed that I could just use 600 grit wet and dry sandpaper and a bit of oil and wipe it off. So nothing major, but it's something, no matter what we do. I have dehumidifiers, moisture traps, you name it, set up in the shed. But still, some tools are prone to, yeah, gather a bit of surface rust. Come on, blade. But this maintenance and sharpening everything and cleaning everything is something I always do before starting a new guitar build. Oh yeah, sharp. And guys, the back of your blades don't need to be a mirror. Sometimes you see people on YouTube that the back of the blades is a mirror. Of course it needs to be flat, it needs to be smooth, but it doesn't have to be a mirror. It just needs to be sharp, which this blade is. Let's see. Put the blade together. Always when mounting your chip breaker, come on, always do it like so, from the side, then twist it, oh, come on, onto the blade, and then move it forward about a mil, 1.5 mil from the edge, and then tighten the screw. Yeah, here, it's the North Sea. No keener. No, I have my blades perfectly straight. I don't take off the corners or something like that. Just straight as possible, as flat as possible. Oh, you're welcome, Danish. You're welcome. It's always nice when people are watching and enjoying the stream as well. So another tip when it comes to the chip breaker, make sure this edge is nice and flat, and when you put it on your blade, that it sits flat on the blade. There's no gap in between your blade and the chip breaker, because chips and wood shavings will get in between and clogging up your plane. So once in a while, when I can see it isn't shiny anymore, it's starting to get dirty, this little edge right here, I put the chip breaker itself on my sharpening stone and just run it across the sharpening stone a few times until I see it's nice and clean and flat again. And it sits dead flat on the back of the blade. So put it back in. Come on. So I'm checking if the blade is nice and parallel to the sole of the plane. And when I'm happy, I'm moving the blade all the way inside the plane, so it doesn't protrude anymore and I can't accidentally cut myself. So nice, smooth, plain blade, sole, rust free. Last one. My baby, the number 7. Yeah, and number 7 can be very expensive, but the Stanley Bailey isn't that expensive. And yeah, of course I don't know where you're from, how the second-hand tool market is there, but I could pick this up almost brand new second-hand. I bought it from someone who thought he had a use for it but hadn't used it. And I was able to take it off his hands fairly cheap. And I think, I don't know who said it, but car boot sales, garage sales, estate sales are a very good place to find good quality second-hand tools. But with many things, when it comes to tools, you can get fairly affordable planes, even number 7s, but then you have to do a ton of work to usually flatten the sole to make sure it's nice and square and set up properly. And with an expensive plane, a lot of those things should already been done for you by the factory. And of course the blade, the quality blade in a cheap plane, you have to chuck it and get yourself a replacement. But that's even, like I said, I think half an hour ago, with the Stanley planes. If you want to enjoy your plane, get yourself a good blade. Oh, they know Keener, they know. They know this is my favorite. Magic hand bringing drinks again. Yeah, you can get lucky. Grizzly, like I said, I don't know if they still make planes, but the Axminster Rider planes from, of course, Axminster in the UK, and you get them here in the Netherlands as well. Very affordable, very good quality planes. Stanley, same, but usually there is some work to do on a Stanley plane. Even the Baileys, when you get them, I had to flatten my sole also. It's a couple of hours work and you have a perfectly fine plane, but they require some work. And of course replace the blade. Yeah, of course you can do a 320, 500 bucks. I don't even want to guess what a Nielsen number 7 costs. Oh, Morgana, you missed it. Yeah, the new project is going to be a Nessa, so one of my Nessa models. That's the double cut, super strat inspired guitar with an inlaid top. And during this live stream, we selected all the wood I'm going to use. So we selected the body, and that's going to be a lovely piece of black limba. Single piece, black limba. This is going to be the front with the inlaid top. And this is going to be the lovely back of the guitar. A lovely quilted red maple top and a beautiful Chet's Choice fretboard. So fretboard, neck, and let's see. And this lovely quilted big leaf maple top is going to be inlaid into the body. And it's going to be a natural finish, so no color, just a natural matte or semi-gloss finish on this guitar. I might have to go to the coarse stone for a moment. This Veritas blade is super hard. Thank you, Morgana. Yeah. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. Oh, come on. Hi Peter, good evening, good night. Yeah, I'll keep you all posted, of course, and I intend to do these live streams regularly to do intermediate updates and such. But I'll keep you posted when the first videos go live. Yeah, here we are. Yeah. We're getting there. Yeah, it's flat. Yeah, Dan, I have built a bass. The Tulkas, I believe it was called, but I can't recall if I made a video about it. I think so. There should be videos about that guitar, about the bass. And I do intend to maybe this year build another bass guitar. But I'm not going to promise a bass guitar build. Thanks, da Kaj. I'm sorry. I think it's pronounced da Kaj, but thank you very much. I'm also really happy how the Phoenix turned out and how the final video, the compilation, turned out. And guys, let me know if you've seen that video, if you've seen the compilation on the Phoenix, which I think you all have. How did you like that video? The editing style and the lack of music. Not much speeding up. I was editing that video and I was about to put music on that video, and I watched it a couple of times and I thought, well, does this even need music? Yeah, Keener, I'm taking the Phoenix with me to the Groesbeek Guitar Show. As long as it's not sold, I'm taking the Phoenix, of course, to shows. The Phoenix will be there. I'm taking the Pantera tribute, the Westone Pantera tribute. I think a couple of Sonia guitars, a Nessa. I think we're almost there, guys. And to be honest, I'm not paying too much attention to sharpening. But yeah. It's sharp. This is how fast paper dulls a blade. Looks great. So make sure the blade sits nice and flat on the toad. Oh, here we go. Whoa! Guys, and to check if your blade is parallel to the sole of the plane, you can retract the blade almost all the way and then use a block of wood on the edge and run it over the plane. And I can see that this side is taking off a bit of material while the other side isn't. So I'm going to adjust the blade just a bit. A bit too much. Yeah, and we're there. If you can't do it by eye, this is a very easy way to check if your blade is indeed parallel to the sole of the rest of the plane, which it is right now. Plane is rust free, sharpened, the sole is nicely polished, the plane has had its coat of oil, so it shouldn't rust for the next couple of days, and ready to go when building a guitar. Now let's clean up the workbench. Make sure the diamond stones are all dry before we put them back in storage. Put this away. Oh, oh, oh. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I like to be honest and real. There's already too much fakery going on, and I just can't. I can't not hide my emotions, my own disappointment when making a mistake. And I think also for you guys who are watching my videos, it's the mistakes where you learn the most, or where I can also show you how to fix them, how to handle them. Most of the time, sometimes mistakes are a bit hard to deal with, and sometimes I need to be by myself without the camera to overcome a mistake. But usually I like to at least show everyone where the pitfalls might be, where you can expect problems and such. So, but I'm glad you like it. Come on. That said, the next build will be a bit different. It's winter, the drawers are sticking also. So I'm going to clean up my mess a bit. Everything is what the, come on. So let's see. I'm going to clean that up tomorrow. Yeah. Let's do this for a moment. And I'm going to finish my Coke. And if there are no more questions, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me in the workshop today. Helping me pick the amazing wood for the next guitar build. Oh, I'm very happy with our picks. It's going to be a wonderful guitar. Hardware. All the stuff we're going to use. Cheers, Unquendor Guitars. Have a good night. Yeah, sometimes you need time, Nick. It takes a long while to recover from depression, mental health issues. I know I won't recover fully ever, but hopefully Azrael, when you're in Germany, my supplier is a Dutch supplier called Masave, M-A-S-A-V-E, in Zwolle, in the Netherlands. It's very close to the German border, and he ships at least to Germany and Belgium without any problems. I don't know if he's done yet, but he was working on a web shop. But otherwise, just send him an email or give him a call, and he will gladly take pictures and send pictures and ship it. Or you can visit him when he's open, and you can go there and source the wood yourself. So it's Masave, so Masave in Zwolle is my supplier, and he will help you gladly. Yeah, that's correct. That's the correct spelling, Azrael. It's Masave. And I know he ships to at least to Germany and Belgium. And you can go there and just look it up for yourself and take it with you straight away. You're welcome, Mr. Pasi. I enjoy live streaming very much. I enjoy it even more than videos. And I have been thinking about doing this build as a live stream, but I have only one camera and my phone, of course, but showing everything and setting up shots while live streaming with just this setup, I have just my iPad and a camera. And battery life for only about 3.5 hours. I see already red lights starting to show up right there that my battery is almost empty. So live streaming an entire build isn't feasible yet, but these kinds of videos, these kinds of streams I really enjoy. So thank you all very much for joining. We've been at it for almost 3.5 hours. It's almost 11 o'clock. So I think I'm going to call it right here. Again, guys, thank you very much for helping me pick the timber or the wood we're going to use in the next build. And I think I'm going to do live streams either weekly or every other week. But keep an eye out on the community posts. And of course my announcements that I'm doing a live stream that week. And I'm still working on a regular schedule. And of course I'll let you all know when the first videos go live from this guitar build. And like I said, it won't be a weekly video. And of course I'm going to record a lot of stuff before I'm going to edit the first video and put it on YouTube. So keep an eye out on the channel, and there's a lot coming in some shape or form this year. Maybe I even start doing a vlog when I'm attending a show, but who knows. Different Guitars, Harji, good night. Azrael, good luck with sourcing your wood, and if you have any problems, find my email address and I can help you sort things out if needed. But Rick of Masave is a very accommodating guy, and he's really ready to help anyone who's interested in getting some nice wood. Norman, thank you once again. Danish, all the regulars, thank you. And yeah, we're going to call it. I'm going to leave chat running for a couple of minutes while I'm sorting out my templates and put everything back where it belongs. And I hope to see you all in the next one. And as always, until then, take care. Bye bye. Here we go. Bye bye, guys.